Greetings and welcome to Factorio. I'm Dgray and today we continue our entry level to Megabase, where we in the last episode just got our main bus up and running and set up a nice little green circuit production. In today's episode we will look at our two sciences, that being red science automation science pack and green science logistics science pack. That is what we need to continue. So if you want to see more of this, do remember to like the video. And if you're new to the channel, do remember to subscribe. So with that out of the way, let's get on with today's build. So now that we have this flowing, we need to hook it up to the main bus. We could do it up top, but that requires to clear out some trees and I don't want to do that by hand. So what I want to do is, as we were doing a few episodes ago, I want to get to grenades. It only requires 20, so why don't we set up both our science things down here and maybe adding science packs to the main bus. It could be kind of cool, and I think it will work very nicely if we did that, just so it's easy to hook up the science later down the line. So let's start with building it. Firstly, we will need to build our automation science. Doesn't require a lot, just one gear and one copper. And what I normally do when building is at crafting speed 1, I want to make 1 per second. Since this takes 5 seconds to craft, I will do 5 red ones. For example, green takes 6 seconds to craft, so I'll need 6 of these to match the ones item per second at crafting speed 1. So let's start to plan it out. The way I normally do it when starting a new line is leave a bit of room in between, just to not get it too compact. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Let's say we leave 4 in between. And then we look at what we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As we said, we require 5 for the red science. But as we also require 1 gear wheel, I want to make gear wheels at the first one and get the rest of this down below. So in theory, the red science will look something like this. So that means we'll have to get iron plates in. Not the hardest to do, but nonetheless something we have to do. So let's just grab a bit of iron from over here. Steal some. And then we'll have iron flowing into this one. And for iron, I kind of want to let it stop around in here. Then it can connect with a copper line from this way. Could steal it from here, but I like keeping my builds disconnected from each other, as that makes it easier to manage. So if you look at this, this will be our copper slash gear line. The way to manage that is if you do something like this, or to be honest, you want the copper to go on the inside. So we do something like that. Because that way we'll have copper on the inside, then you can output gears on the outside. That also means we'll have to get the iron in, and of course the copper. To do that, let's just steal this little blueprint for the copper line. This part, line you up to go in about here as I want it on the inside. Means let's just set up a few splitters yet again. I know this is using a bit more resource than needed, but it's fine. It's not too bad. That will give us the copper in. Then we also need to get an iron line. To do that, we can do pretty much the same one as here. Or we just want the iron to go out about here into the middle of that one. And again, using this as a marker for how we want to build it. To make sure we build it correctly. So please take it this way. That will start to get the copper flowing that way. Up here, we'll just steal. Let's take this part first. Say once that to here, And then we can just line up the rest of these going forward. There we are. Connect up the lines. Remember to get the blueprint correctly. Going down and then just dragging this along. So that gives us iron as well for this setup. Now just to drag it down. Very, very simply to our new setup. And here you can just grab the iron in. That'll be very, very good. That'll output the gear wheels on the outside, and then we'll have copper going on the inside. The reason why I put it here and not up here is that that will make the bend it curve, and that is not what I want. I only want it to go here. That's looking very good. We also need to add the inserters to these. We'll need to add a bit of power. There, here, and here are all of that. Get a small amount of power here as well, giving us the gear wheels going down, going in. And then we just need to hook up the copper to have a nice output of red science. There we are on the inside. So let's go up top. Let's start to drag it down. Right, here it goes. And because we're building on the bottom side, we are using quite a bit of resources for undergrounds. It's not the end of the world. It's fine. We have a nice solid amount of production. So here goes the copper. That will go in on the same line as this. That means we'll need to have an output for this one. So we can go up this way. And as we said, I want to maybe take a few lines for the science as well. And get it used. Normally I do 2 sciences per line. Just because that makes it easier to manage. So this one will be a red-green line. So the next we want to hook up as soon as this one is flowing. There. Get the power in. That gives us a nice amount of red science. Now what I normally do here, since I only want it on one side, to save a bit of room on the main bus, we'll then make the green science on the opposite side. And as we saw before, we will require 6 for the logistic science packs. Because that is a 6-second craft instead of a 5-second craft over here. When this is running, it's a 1-to-1 ratio to each other, which is exactly what I want to see. Stealing a bit more iron here. You can also steal some iron from over here if you want to. And even steal some gears if you want to. So these will output this way, the same way as the red does, on the opposite side of this belt, going up and into the main bus right here. We can then make a science setup right on the side of this one afterwards and make it expandable and much easier to manage. That is what I want to do. So if you look at this, it's a bit more complicated. It requires transport belts and it requires inserters. The transport belts, quite easy, just requires iron and a gear wheel, and that is the same kind of resource as a base. This one, on the other hand, requires iron and gear wheel, but also electronic circuits. Luckily, we have electronic circuits on the bus, so we can just kind of take them from there. So the way I want to manage this is, we'll have to have things flowing in the way we need. So the way I want to build it is something like this. The reason why I have it going 2 ways is that if I do this, I can then put in, I'll do it here instead, one that splits it out like this, right down the middle. That means I just need to get inserters and transport belts on the same line. So for example, if you get this line going out here, we'll then add in a little production here and one here. You will make inserters and you will make belts. you'll then output to this one. Getting it on both sides, since this splits it evenly to both, they'll then be able to grab the things we need from this little setup. Give it a small amount of power to make sure it works. And then we have this one. So as we're saying, gear wheel, the rest comes from the main bus. That means we'll just take these, add them at the end. As simple as that. Getting you to take from here into that one, And now for inputs, doing 2. This will be our iron line, and then we'll have one line that stops right here, or maybe right here, that supplies the green circuits for our, what's it called? Inserters. So that means to get this running, an iron line and a green circuit line. Very, very simply. You'll take in here, in. Gear and gear. And to get this one, which is one further over, you can use a long hand inserter. We unlock that when we got the fast inserters as well. So that means we can just grab from the belt one further out. Then to add a bit of power, something like that. And everything is set up and we just need the inputs now. So let's see here. Going by the same setup as before, let's take this part. That will go for the iron line, which was right. Let's see, the line's up right there. So right there for the iron line. Then we need the green circuit line over here, which is right on the opposite side of this one. Let's take the same setup here to right there. Taking you out. So now we just need to hook these things up. That will give us science on the main bus, and meaning we can start to do a ton of science going forward. There we are. So firstly, you will have to go about here to hook up the iron line. Ran out of belts, let's just go up top and get some. Luckily we should have some being produced up here. One of the main reasons why you have things like this set up is so you can always go back and grab some things. Let's grab you. Here's some undergrounds. We do require more iron. Luckily we can just go and steal some from down here and add it into our little setup. So as you can see, this is a very powerful thing to have set up, as you can get whatever your heart desires from these. So here's for you. I'll start to work. You require some copper, you can have that. Not that it's really needed anymore, we can just pick it up down below. And we have some gear wheels we want to take from here. Take you, and that's fine. So now we have some belts that we can use and hook up the rest of our science build. While running that, let's just craft a few more of these so we actually have some. Let's see, now we have 6. Let's go with 6 for now. I think that's a good start. Then we'll see if that is enough to make it work. Let's get you all the way to the end. Get you down this way. Let's drag you all the way to the end. Very simply this way. Get the iron in, and that will start to produce at least the belts for now, as they have all they need now. Then for the green circuits, let's take you on the outside, and then the build is pretty much done in terms of red and green science. So as this has a bit more room, we still need to have it split out. For example, right here, doing the same kind of left-right output, but taking it down this way. So now you might think, what if we then get a second line from over here? Of some kind of resource want to go this way. How do we get across this thing that when it's in the main line? And the reason is, quite simply, you just jump across. That way you can always make room for splitting things off in the middle of a bus. But this works exactly like I want it to right now. Let's drag the green circuit down to right there. They'll go down, they'll go into this one. And that will start to feed into what we need here. This one makes one every half a second. These require one every 6 seconds. That means this makes 12 per 6 seconds. That means one of these can supply twice as many of these. So the ratios are more than perfect. As you can see, power, we might have to go and expand that a bit as well. But we can do that as soon as we have set up the rest of the science here. Yeah, as you can see, we're not doing enough. So, looking here, that is logistics science packs running. Let's quickly, while I explain what we'll do after this, go and set up some more power. Let's see here, should in theory start to craft some more pipe as well. But for now, let's just hook up the power. So now that we have red and green science, it is very easy to hook those up to some labs and get going. Since that is exactly what I want to do. Let's just hook this up very quickly because we will soon get to the main bus as well, so we can get this a bit easier. Let's get you, and you. And here again, as you saw before, the power is going down. That means if this was a normal inserter, it will work less quickly or not as fast as before, and that would be a huge issue. So let's just get you hooked in. We'll have to craft 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Here's some more pipes to have it. And then we just need to hook up these. Because the power is already connected, so as simple as that, we have expanded out a lot more of our build. So instead of having 3.6 megawatts, we now have 12.6 megawatts of available power. And as long as that keeps up, we should be in a good situation. So all this is going, we have all we need. Now we can start to maybe dismantle some of this. For one, we can take this one away, that one away, and dismantle our science setup up here. Because it's always good to clean up things as you get it sorted. Same with this one, actually not needed anymore, so let's just clean it up. And the last here we can still keep for a little while, since it is very good to have. Just for a few minutes at least. As you can see, we all starting to be needing a lot more iron, as our base is consuming more and more. But red and green science on the main bus, so let's hook up a little science setup. As you can see, everything fits in nicely, so that is perfect. So the way I want to do the science is if it starts about the same height as the rest. Let's see, can you do this right now? You can. So a cool way to hook these up is if you do something like this. And the reason for that is if you do it this way, these can jump across, then you can grab the science in. We need a bit more room here. And actually it's just like this. We have to move one. Let's get this set up correctly. Because we're doing this, you will be able to get things flowing, and it doesn't take that much room. So let's see, you'll start here, go to there, jump here to here, and I think something like that would be correct. There, there, there. If we do it for long right now, we could in theory go as far as down as we want, we could say 5, 6, as that is how many we have. Because that way we can take them in to each of these, and then we can daisy chain them down for more down this way, making a very small blueprint, but does exactly what we want. So let's just get the signs in. There's actually no need to split this one off for now. We could in theory just take it in, since this is the only place it has to go. So if you just turn you in this way, that will go into the end. We'll get this one to grab what it needs for the science production. Actually don't need to jump further right now. Adding in some power poles. Just like that. And as simple as that, we have a very, very nice science setup. I'll just craft 6 more to show you what I mean about doing a little daisy chain, getting it into the next one. So when you have a setup like this, you are able to just put down these next to them, like that. Take a little inserter, tell it to jump it over 1 to the right, and pretty much double the throughput on science. Of course, these might not be able to support it at the moment, but as we upgrade our system, we will be able to do more and more. So let's just hook this up. There we are. A nice simple science setup that does exactly what we want, and it will enable us to get on with more things. The first thing I want to research, which should be quite quickly to do now, is our grenades. It takes 15 seconds. So if you look at this, that is going very, very quickly. And these are slowly but surely chugging along, making everything we need. So I think this will be a decent place to end this episode. We got a ton done. We expanded out of power. We set up red and green science. And we made a very, very nice science setup, where in the future we can always just expand this out, getting more and more things in. So the next 3 will go in here, next 2 will go in here, and the next 2 will go in there. I do have to move the power lines over 1, as that will interfere with the inserters in the future, but that is fine. So in the next episode, we'll probably start to clear out some of this forest with grenades. I'll show you it once on stream, just on stream in this episode, to see how you can clear it out with the grenades a lot faster than doing it by hand. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you'll leave a like on the video if you think I deserve it. And if you're new to the channel, do remember to subscribe. It means a lot to me, and it will help YouTube know you want to see more. So with that, thank you so much for watching, guys. I've been Dgray, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.